Guys, welcome back to another video for Hoops Empire. Sorry for the week and a half long wait for another video. I've just been really busy with work and stuff like that. So per request, today we are doing a NBA mock draft because the lottery actually just got canceled the other day, as it should be because hopefully the season can resume. I went to Tankathon.com and did a lottery simulation to get the order of picks. Before I start, just remember to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Also leave a comment below on any future video ideas. Also comment below if you want me to do the rest of the first round, because I'm just going to do the lottery picks to keep it short and sweet for you guys. So getting into it, at number 14, the Portland Trailblazers are going to select Théo Maledon. Stats aren't going to jump off the page for you, averaging like 7 points and 3 assists, but I mean he's playing professional basketball in France, in the EuroLeague against professionals, and against much better competition than college basketball. He's a pretty good shooter, has a nice jump shot, but his defense is really what stands out. He's very long and very pesky on defense, allowing him to grab steals and also be a pretty capable on-ball defender. And that's really what the Trailblazers need in this draft. They need a wing or guard combo that can actually play defense, because as good as, CJ and Dame are, they're not all too good on defense. At number 13, the New Orleans Pelicans are going to select Saddiq Bey. He was one of, if not the best player on Villanova this year, averaging 16, 5, and 2 on 48% shooting, 45 from three-point, and 77 from free throw. He can shoot from anywhere on the floor pretty efficiently, but like Maledon, his staple is really on defense. Took on the task of guarding every team's best player, something very few players can actually say they've done. He's 6'8", 215, and can efficiently guard pretty much every position on the floor. With his size, length, and athleticism, he's probably one of the most underrated players in the draft. At number 12, the Sacramento Kings are going to be drafting Precious Achulwa. He's averaging 16 points and 11 rebounds, and the thing with the Kings is their forward big man situation is questionable, I would say, with Marvin Bagley being pretty iffy, and Achulwa at 6'10", 225 could be a pretty solid pick for them. He's a great finisher at the rim, but he lacks a bit of overall skill, but this could easily be worked with, especially with his tremendous athleticism. I think he can blossom in the NBA. At number 11, the San Antonio Spurs are going to select Isaac Okoro. Okoro averaged 13 points and 2 assists this season with Auburn. Okoro was a great slashing type player, pretty good size for a perimeter player at 6'5" with a near 6'10" wingspan. He's shown real defensive potential, guards 1 through 3 pretty well, doesn't really exceed that though. He's a very high energy player. This shows on his defense, and hopefully he can improve his offensive game, and he could be a really good player in the NBA, especially under Popovich. At number 10, the Phoenix Suns are going to select RJ Hampton. You probably have seen RJ Hampton in the news a couple times because he was really one of those players that made it trend to join National League. He plays in the NBL alongside LaMelo Ball. And again, his stats aren't really going to jump off the page at you, but playing professional basketball with other professional players, it's going to be a lot harder to score, but it's great experience, and it could prove to help him in the long run. He's really efficient in the pick and roll, and he's really good at finishing at the rim as well. It's a very aggressive play style. He needs a lot of work with his shooting as well as his defense, but again, that's something that can be worked with, especially with, the love for the game that he has, and that's pretty well documented. At number 9, the Washington Wizards are going to select Aaron Nesmith. Nesmith was really just lighting it up this season at Vanderbilt, averaging 23 points on, really good shooting clips. 51% overall and 52% from 3 on almost 9 attempts per game, which is just insane. I mean, that number would be one of the best in NBA history if he was playing in the league right now. He does have a pretty limited offensive game. It's kind of centered around that catch and shoot game. He has a lot of potential on defense at 6'5" with almost a 7-foot wingspan at 6'11". At number 8, the Charlotte Hornets are going to select James Wiseman. You've probably also seen Wiseman a lot in the news for all the stuff that went on with him and Penny Hardaway at Memphis. He's just a great player overall. I mean, with his finishing ability at the rim, 7-foot frame with a 7'6" wingspan, he has the ability to shoot from mid-range and has a close shot. I wouldn't say he has much of a three-point shot at all, but that can also be worked with in today's NBA. I mean, we've seen the worst shooters become great shooters. The thing that worries me is that he's not much of a rebounder or a shot blocker, even though he should be with his size. He was originally projected much higher in many mock drafts, but I think the reasons that I just listed are reasons for concern and caution, but I think the Hornets will get a great center either way. That's something they really need. At number 7, the Chicago Bulls are going to select Tyrese Haliburton. Haliburton is good at pretty much everything. He can score from every spot on the floor. He's a great playmaker, averaging nearly 7 assists a game. He can rebound, even though he isn't a very tall player at 6'4" or 6'5". He shoots 42% from 3, and all he really needs to do is just bulk up, because, I mean, he's only 170 pounds right now, which really isn't going to cut it in today's NBA, but an NBA regimen, he could probably gain that weight up to 200 within his first season. At number 6, the New York Knicks are going to select Cole Anthony. I think Cole Anthony can be exactly what the Knicks need, which is a star player. He plays like Westbrook, a very aggressive and hyper player that has extreme athleticism and finishing ability. The only thing about him is that his negatives are also very Westbrook-like. He's very inefficient and streaky shooter. Kind of just streaky player overall. He's shot his team out of games before, and that's something that you're not going to be able to do in the NBA. But I think he's an overall great prospect that could actually bring some fire to New York, and that's definitely what they need. At number 5, the Detroit Pistons are going to select Avidja. Avidja is a great scorer at all levels, being efficient scorer from 3, mid-range, and close to the basket with his height and athleticism. He's a great passer and playmaker, and while he's not as good or as promising, he really reminds me of Luka Doncic. I mean, he's someone who could become a transcendent player in the NBA if he's put in the right atmosphere. He's led his team to the EuroLeague championship and has been a really good player for Maccabi Tel Aviv this past year. At number 4, the Atlanta Hawks are going to select Killian Hayes. Hayes is another great player who decided to play professional ball instead of college. He's a great scorer off the dribble, as well as being a pretty solid playmaker. He has a full frame at 6'5", 200 pounds, and is quite the athlete. He also appears to have just a great IQ and a good understanding for the game overall, which is something that's really good coming into the NBA. You need fluidity in your game to succeed in the league, so that's going to help him. What he needs to improve is his shooting. He's not been too efficient in his career, putting up, questionable shots at times, that's for sure, but it's another thing that can be corrected in the NBA. Getting into the top 3, at number 3, the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to select LaMelo Ball. Wolves have cited great interest in Ball, and that's well deserved. I mean, he's no longer the, cherry-picking short kid who scores 100 in a game, Chino Hills. He's a superstar now. I mean, he can shoot the ball, his passing ability is probably unmatched in this draft. He can score off the dribble, he has a deep bag in his handle game, he's an exceptional rebounder, he has an off-the-charts IQ, and he's a great athlete now. He can be a bit wild on offense. That, along with defense, are really his only weaknesses, but his defense has definitely improved since his high school days, and that's very evident if you watch him play. At number 2, the Cleveland Cavaliers are going to select Obi Toppin. Toppin is really just a player that can do everything. I mean, he could rebound, he can score on the post. He actually has a pretty solid handle for a big man at nearly 6'10", 230 pounds. He has great hands, which is really useful for scoring and backing down guys in the post. He can defend nearly every position and is extremely aggressive and relentless in his play style. These are all things that are going to translate really well to the NBA. I think he definitely needs to improve on his steals and blocks, but I mean, that's really his only weakness. He could be one of the best stretch bigs in the NBA if he really puts his mind to it. And that leaves one player to the Golden State Warriors, would be Anthony Edwards. So this combo guard out of Georgia just has potential to be a generational talent. I mean, he has the playmaking skills to run a team. He's explosive. You'll always see him on the highlight reels for a crazy dunk or something like that. He can shoot from 3 pretty well. He can shoot from mid-range, and even though he can be prone to shooting slumps, have his full time to be practicing basketball. I mean, he no longer has to, go to math class every other day. His whole life will be dedicated to basketball now. Him paired with a full-strength Warrior team could be something really scary, and, I think they'll be right back in finals contention next year if they draft him. So that's going to wrap up the video. Again, just let me know if you want the rest of the first round and maybe even a second round. And again, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment below on any future video ideas. I also really want to thank you guys for 100 subscribers. I hit that mark a couple days ago, and it feels good. It's all happening pretty quick, but yeah, just help me out as much as you can. Just put the word out there. So that's going to do it for today's video, and have a good one.